Classic yachts are some of my favourite vessels to film. They're full of stories with lives of their own, and more often than not, are some of the most beautiful yachts on the water. I've had the privilege of covering quite a few classic yachts over the years, including some really very pretty gentlemen's yachts like this one, Ammiraglio. Her name means admiral in Italian, and you can see why. She has quite the commanding presence, though not through machismo or a sense of bulk and aggression, but rather a timeless, arresting elegance that is rare to find on the market today. Ammiraglio is now for sale with Northrop & Johnson with my colleague Ed Dickinson.
Ammiraglio is a 28-metre Na.Vi. She was delivered in 1982. The shipyard was based in Viareggio, was known for building a number of custom super yachts of the time. When the vessel was first delivered, she was very shortly in the ownership of one family and then transferred to a second family who owned the vessel all the way through until around 5 years ago. So over her entire life, since 1982, she's only actually had 3 owners, and all 3 of the owners have loved and cared for the vessel. The vessel itself is an extremely robust vessel. It's got a steel hull, aluminium superstructure. She's got a gross tonnage of 112 gross tons, and due to her fantastic fuel economy, she actually has more than transatlantic range. One of the things I first noticed when I went on board the vessel in Saint-Tropez was that she barely rolls, she barely moves in the water. Now, when the owner bought the vessel, a few years ago, he fitted a new stabilizer system, which is a new Dutch system where the stabilizers come out and they rotate. They're not actually 0 speed, so they are just underway. But even without the 0 speed stabilizers, in the Bay of Saint-Tropez with huge swell of vessels going past, the vessel sat beautifully at anchor. Taking you through Ammiraglio, there's 2 ways you board the boat at anchor, especially. Now, when I go out and I visit the boat, she's at sea, the best way to board the boat is actually on the starboard side. There's a wonderful platform that comes down, making it very easy for you to access the vessel from a tender. And you then walk around and you're greeted by the main deck aft, which is set up to have seating on the aft area and a very nice breakfast table, which is where you can sit in the shade. It's very sheltered from the wind. From this main deck aft area, on both port and starboard sides, you do have sidewalls which go round up to the foredeck. If, however, you proceed from the main deck aft through into the main salon, this is the primary interior guest space. There's a wonderful seating area to the port side. To the starboard, there's a staircase that leads you down to the master cabin. Further forward, you have a formal interior dining space. The whole of the interior of the boat is beautifully finished in the original woodwork, which has been really beautifully maintained. It really shows the craftsmanship from the Viareggio yard, from when she was built, so the attention to detail is evident throughout. As you go further forward on the main deck, to port, you have access up onto the sundeck. In addition, you also have access to the galley. The galley has been brought up to date over recent years with new equipment, and it also has a laundry area and a small crew dining area. And further forward of that takes you through to the bridge. Now, the bridge is quite special. It's got a lot of original features on it. So they have sympathetically updated it as required to make sure that she complies with the Dutch flag requirements. But just after the bridge, on the port-hand side, is a wonderful ship's office with a sofa. At the moment, it's used by the captain, but if you are an owner-driver or you want to be involved with the crew, it's a really nice place to sit, look over the bridge while you're cruising along, finish off your daily emails. Forward of the bridge, you then go down to the crew area for 4 people, and it's split into 2 twin bunks, and they also have ensuite facilities. Coming from the bridge to the exterior decks, you move forward and there's a seating area in front of the bridge, wonderful when you're underway. Or you can move down to the toy storage area, the anchor locker, the anchor area, and that's all up forward on the foredeck. Moving back into indoors, as mentioned earlier, we have the master cabin, which is full beam, is at the stern of the vessel. It's got a lot of wardrobe space, it's got a wonderful ensuite bathroom, and that makes the most of the canoe stern of the vessel. And there's 3 further guest cabins on board. These are midship. 2 of them are twin cabins, both with ensuite facilities, and then there's a VIP cabin, which used to traditionally have twin berths, but is now a double cabin, and that's forward of the other 2 cabins. The main deck space which guests use is the sundeck. When the owner purchased the vessel, he took it to Astilleros de Mallorca, and he actually repositioned the funnel of the vessel to move it further forward to make the most of the sundeck space. So after the sundeck is the tender storage. The owner actually got a new tender this year for the vessel, and it's a separate zone to the guest spaces. There's a clear division between the tender space and the guest spaces. Further forward is this main exterior dining space. Has a wonderful shading area that comes over the top, and you have a large U-shaped bench, so you can comfortably fit 10-12 guests around the table with no problem at all. The main central space of the sun deck is used for loose furniture, for sun loungers, for enjoying being out at sea. And then you can actually climb forwards over the bridge, and there's an additional sun pad area which is enjoyed for a little bit more privacy and a wonderful space to be on underway. Ammiraglio is powered by 2 500 horsepower Cummins engines. They've always been serviced, most recently in 2023. And the nice thing about these engines, they provide a top speed of the vessel of 10.5 knots. If you want to reduce that down to just 9.5 knots, which is only a slight decrease, it gives you exceptional fuel economy of just 55 litres of fuel an hour, including the generators. The generators, which are own-owned, were actually replaced in 2004, and they too have always been serviced in line with manufacturers' requirements. Ammiraglio has always been looked after by all the owners, and she was repainted in 2018, but the current owner ensures that the inner bulwarks are painted every year, the engines are serviced every year, the generators are serviced every year. He's just invested in putting a new capsule on the boat. Anything that's required is done, but the owner has also ensured that he's maintained the heritage and the ambience on board to show it's still a true classic yacht. The vessel is also registered in the Dutch flag registry, and we have evidence to show that she is VAT exempt, so a benefit of an older vessel, and there's no questions over the VAT status of the vessel. If there's somebody looking for a true gentleman classic yacht, she's canoe stern, steel construction, exceptional seakeeping capabilities, and competitively priced for the volumes and the quality of build offered. We strongly recommend you come and have a look at the vessel, and you will not be disappointed.